Have you ever experienced the feeling of 3 gallons of awkwardly warm urine being drizzled onto your forehead? As long as you aren't a 14-year-old girl who's acquainted with R. Kelly, your answer is probably no. But to the surprise of a lot of you, I am also not a girl. But I did get violently pissed on by my friend who was not all there. Allow me to explain. So this pleasurable penal piss story starts off with illegal activities. It was my 17th birthday, and a couple buddies of mine decided to come over to my place, and for legal purposes, get shit-faced on Mellow Yellow. Now you may be asking,
Mellow Yellow? That shit is ass. Mountain Dildo is way better.
and to that I say fuck you. Mellow Yellow is and will forever be superior to Mountain Dew in every conceivable aspect. So anyways, the night started off fairly normal. We were all shooting the shit together, generally talking about how fucking dog shits our lives are going to become in a single year's time when we all have to get a full-time job. But we didn't contemplate cluster suicide for long, because we knew damn well we were in for an absolutely mental masquerade-like night. Now before we had all grouped together at the Noxylicious Thunderdome, we had developed a very in-depth plan for what shenanigans we were going to be endeavoring upon throughout this historical night. I just spit all over my fucking microphone. First we were going to sexually splash each other in my mother's hot tub, and that would be when we start consuming the forbidden Melodic Yellow Dick. Then after about 4 hours of soaking in our own drunken sorrows, we were going to watch Vine Try Not to Laugh challenges, where the first person who laughed got castrated. But while we were getting in the hot tub, we remembered our favorite pool game in the history of pool games, Drown the Dilf in Darkness. Now that name may have you understandably confused and concerned as fuck, but I promise it's a very safe and fun game. In fact, I reckon after you learn the rules to this game, you should play it with your 3-year-old children. So basically how Drown the Dilf in Darkness works is that you have 2 people in the hot tub and 1 person out of the hot tub, as a supervisor if you will. And if you happen to be one of the unfortunate souls that are inside of the hot tub, you better start performing military breathing techniques, because you're gonna need some air pretty fucking soon. Once everyone consents that they are ready, or the person outside of the hot tub just gets bored, the outside DILF carefully and safely closes the hot tub lid violently, leaving the 2 other DILFs trapped in a very small air pocket between the surface of the water and the hot tub cover. And whoever has the biggest vagina and taps on the hot tub cover first loses the game and is forced to drink an entire beer. Mellow Yellow. Now you may be wondering, how could this game be so hard? And I can personally tell you that it's not, because I don't lose this shit. But I can understand why it could be scary for some, because once that pool cover closes, you are in complete darkness, and it can be very claustrophobic if you're a giant pussy. So although this game is completely safe with no issues at all, so long as the outside DILF is paying close attention, you can imagine how sketchy this game can get once everyone starts to get a teensy bit tipsy. So after a few rounds, my buddy T, which I guess I could tell you these 2 gentlemen's names since this will be important later. You got T, who is a very Christian charismatic man, and you got H, who is a very unbothered man, let's just say that. Let me tell you something about T. I've known this fella pretty much my entire life. T, H, and I all met when we were infants in preschool, meaning we trusted each other with our lives, but not after this night. So after a couple rounds of Drown the Drunken Dilf in Darkness, T was on a massive losing streak. The amount of Mellow Yellow this man-child consumed could probably rival the radiation level of the basement in the Chernobyl power plant. But eventually, T pulled through with the #1 victory royale when faced against H. So, T got to be the lucky bloke to stand outside the hot tub and supervise H and I. Now we were all pretty fucked up on the Mellow Yellow by this point, due to the fact that we didn't have much experience being alcoholics at our age yet. So when the next round of DTD-IDN started, our heads weren't in the right place, especially T's. So after about 35 seconds or so of H and I inhaling each other's carbon dioxide mixed with the cancerous chlorine fumes, H's pussy ass decided to call it quits, and he started knocking on the tub cover. But after a good 3 seconds, the cover remained covering, and that was not ideal. H started understandably geeking the fuck out and slamming the shit out of this cover trying to get it open. And after what felt like a millennia, we managed to actually open this cover. And when this shit opened, this man T was nowhere to be fucking found. H was absolutely pissed and started screaming for T's name. We then faintly heard T drunkenly call back from around my garage. This motherfucker fucker was pissing behind my garage that was a good 100 feet away. We were absolutely fuming. Then again, we were also playing arguably the most retarded game a drunk person could play, but that still doesn't excuse T's inexcusable behavior. So after a very long, tedious argument between the three of us, we ended up drying off and going back inside, and we actually managed to mostly forget about this near-death experience and started shooting the shit again. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced consuming mass amounts of fun juice, but after a while, shit starts to get a bit blurry. So it's probably about 3 a.m. at this point, and T starts to feel the effects of consuming this sus mellow yellow. And I've only seen T consume Adler Bald one time before, and after a few hours of this man ingesting this liquid, he uningests it, if you know what I mean. So T starts telling us he doesn't feel very well, but H and I, being the amazing friends we are, we try to make him feel better by expressing our lack of stomach comfort as well, even if we don't actually feel that way. And somehow, this comforting actually delayed the inevitable. So much so that we went outside into my garage, where I knew there was a 6-pack of this Crown Apple Mellow Yellow. But the thing is, this 6-pack had to have been sitting here in solitude confinement for a solid 3 years at least. So when we opened one of these bottles, the stench that came out of this fucker smelt worse than the underside of my nutsack after an intense taint workout. This shit smelt like straight skank skunkussy. So immediately, H and I opted out of consuming such a wretched beverage, but not T. In fact, he was quite adamant in consuming this beverage. So we started sipping it, and in his words, he said it was actually pretty damn good. So we didn't question it. Instead, we just let him keep sipping. So about another hour goes by and I start to slowly drift off. That is until T starts complaining about a storm a-coming in his esophagus. And real quick, I'll show you the layout of my basement, that way this makes more sense. Don't mind the mess, but the only important part about this is the chair I was sleeping on, and this turned into a couch. So they were sitting on that and I was sitting on this. And T gets up from this couch and he walks over here and he goes to this door here, which is the bathroom. So luckily the bathroom is only about a few feet away from us, and T goes in there to start wreaking havoc. The sheer and utter terror H and I felt, while also laughing harder than we ever had before at T's extremely violent gagging and vomiting noises, is forever etched into my mind. This 9/11 audio recreation goes on for about 45 minutes while H and I are casually chatting about life. And you gotta remember, it's getting close to 6 a.m. at this point, and I'm drunk and drowsy as fuck. So eventually, through the regurgitation noises, I end up falling asleep. And everything I'm about to tell you after this point is solely based off of H's perspective. After I fell asleep, T ended his Hawk Tuah session and went to sleep on the couch. H, on the other hand, is pretty much nocturnal, so he started to sober up a bit while T and I were asleep. So maybe an hour goes by, and T half-wakenly rises from the couch and starts making his way over to the bathroom, although he didn't actually make it to the bathroom. Instead, he somehow mistook the chair I was sleeping on for the toilet, and the position I was laying on this chair in was pretty awkward. My face was pressed up against the back top of the chair, and I was in the Rest McSnoozefest position, as I normally am. So, T's retarded ass pulls out his dongle and starts flitting Niagara Falls straight onto the back of my chair. And this whole time, H is trying to get T's attention, but can't help but start laughing his cock off after laying eyes on T's cock. So eventually T pisses enough to where it's really starting to form a river on top of this chair. And I end up waking up, but I woke up right after T was putting his dragon back in the chamber. So I was confused as fuck. The only information I had at the time was H hysterically laughing his ass off like the Joker, and T mumbling to himself like a fucking psychopath, walking back to his couch. So as I'm coming to, H tells me while laughing that T just hit me with that R. Kelly. And at first I didn't believe it, because I instantly started feeling my hair for dampness, but came out dampless. That was until I wiped my face and realized there was a droplet of salty piss elegantly resting on my eyebrow. And after examining my surroundings, I noticed the table next to my chair had a few extra puddles I hadn't noticed before. And the back of my chair looked like it had been hit by a 3-mile-high tsunami. But by the time I processed that I had just been R. Kelly'd, T was already fast asleep, and I knew if I woke him up he would just be out of it. Getting this man to wake up would be like trying to get a retarded kid to recite the first 10 numbers of pi. It wouldn't fucking happen. And honestly, I I was almost as out of it as he was, so hesitantly, I let it slide and slid my pissed baby ass in bed. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of the second plane hitting the second building, which was T vigorously vomiting in my toilet again. So I went downstairs and started recouping with both of them, trying to figure out what exactly went down a few hours prior, praying to God that this was just a drunken nightmare. But unfortunately, this was no nightmare. This was reality, and I now have to forever live with the fact that I have been urinated on by one of the men I trusted the most. And honestly, I kinda liked it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you Kurt Cobain that like button. That way it splits into a million little pieces, and then mail each piece of this cranium like button to a random person's name you found in your grandpappy's phone book he gave you when you were a wee youngin'. Speaking of grandpas, enjoy this grandpa reveal. But on a serious Bible, let me know in the comments if you fuck with this style of content. I've been wanting to make a storytime video for the longest time, and figured I'd test the waters. If y'all like this video, I could definitely make it a series, and I reckon the name Storytime Solo Cues has a nice ring to it. This series is heavily inspired by Neat Mike's Storytime singles, if you haven't been able to tell. So definitely go watch those, as they're the best videos on YouTube. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, Schnuggies. Love y'all.